clash in Osun State. We continue to have this every election year. Will there ever be a time that Nigeria will conduct an election and it will be like, oh, this is the best of it? No clash, no injury, no shooting of guns, no thuggery.
I think the political gladiators are not helping matters. They see politics as a do or die affair. They see politics as war with bloodshed, as against the philosophy of Mao Zedong that politics is war without bloodshed. Politics is who gets what, when, and how. And you use logic, you sell your manifesto, you sell your idea. What they are selling to us today is violence. Let me draw your attention to the headline you read. I think one of the headlines you read, that Tinubu's threat to Akwa Ibom, something like that, you just such a story. When
it was not a threat, he made a statement.
No, you read a headline that mentioned threat. That headline simply said,
it said Tinubu's threat against Akwa Ibom governor affirms his autocratic tendencies.
Yes, so that particular headline, if you look at the content of what Senator Bola Tinubu, the APC candidate for the presidency, sold to Nigerians, sold to people of Akwa Ibom, when he came, was a message of hate. Was a message, in my own view now, as Franklin the song, not as chairman, not as state director of Crown, the way I analyze that particular statement, because as a journalist, I took time. My duty is to analyze speeches. I criticize speech. I criticize policies. Now, my critique to the statement of Bola Tinubu when he came to Akwa Ibom to sell his manifesto was more of a hate message. Now, he never spoke on what he intended to do for the people of Akwa Ibom State and for Nigerians. He was rather using that platform as wide, as broad as it were, to sell.
But he said he was going to bring prosperity to the people.
That's it.
He mentioned the fact that there is going to be Bakadip Seaport. At least he sold something.
Will you allow, if you allow me to explain, okay. I will tell you, if you listen to the audio, he wasn't really speaking. People who are standing by him were the one whispering to him. And the microphone was loud to pick those voices around. And then they will remind him what he will say. He will just chip it in. He will chip it in. I was as a traditional title holder in Akwa Ibom and Ibio land. I was in the State Council of Chiefs when he came, because first he paid homage to the royal fathers, and I was there presently. I was with the monarchs. I heard his message that he gave, and I heard what the monarchs told him. The monarchs, in the address presented by...
What did he tell the monarchs?
I'm coming. Yeah, what the President General of Akwa Ibom State Council of Chiefs, that is Dr. Solomon Etuk, who is Okuwibio, what he told him clearly was that Akwa Ibom State needs the East-West Road to be done. We need the Calabar to highway that has lingered for so long to be done and commissioned. That we also need Ibaka, that is the Ibom Deep Seaport, to be done. That we need this project. And he thanked the president for appointment of the Akwa Ibom State sons and daughters into the government. Now, first he was the first to speak, and he was not actually hitting on these issues. He was actually saying he had been governor of Lagos State. He was going to use the same idea he used in building Lagos to build the country, and what he achieved and what he didn't achieve. But he didn't actually connect to Akwa Ibomites in that particular platform. There he was speaking extemporal. Nobody was speaking for him because he was standing there addressing the royal fathers. He wasn't speaking from an address. He came up and was speaking extemporal. He just spoke from his mind. And he didn't actually speak that he was going to do this, do that. But if he had known, if he had people who are really on ground, perhaps they would have told him, as you have come to Akwa Ibom, this is what we need. Say this, or have this address. Give this address to the royal fathers. Give this one at the rally. That is how I think would have guided his approach to issues. That would have helped him to know what the people of Akwa Ibom State need. But what we need in Akwa Ibom may not be what we need in Lagos or in Borno State or in Kaduna State. We have peculiar issues, but he never get that connection with the people of Akwa Ibom State at the Council of Chiefs. Now he went to the rally ground. He stood there and was speaking about the governor, calling the governor of Akwa Ibom State a boy that lives at his backyard. And he was making that comment, and he said he could drive him away. No, these comments are incisive. We are like hate message. It now see that you have a platform given to you, even that was a state government platform. This is my own view. Government is not like where you have some state where the governors will deny you state facility. At the airport was state government, airport.
Okay.
And at the stadium, and you use that medium instead of selling your message, you sell the message of
Let me comment there.
That for me was completely what could lead to violence. Now, let me add this. Now, shortly after the rally, after he left, there's a video that came out thereafter where some persons were demolishing his posters, his billboards at that particular venue. So, and then they were saying, in the background of it, they were saying he didn't give us any good message. He was not speaking anything to us. He wasn't saying anything. He was just destroying his. I saw the video. I don't know whether you have seen it. It's trending online now. Now this is what could lead to violence, because you are going to a state, have a connection between the people of the state and yourself and your manifesto. You go to Akwa Ibom State, know what they want. Your managers will tell you what they need. When you go, you tell them what they need.
Okay.
Not to tell them that the governor is a boy living at a backyard. That for me could incite violence.
All right. So now there is an argument to that, because different people think differently. And the argument is that he is also a recipient of these kinds of hate messages by politicians as well.
Who?
By politicians as well. For instance, there was a gather, but I'm telling you, the presidential candidate of APC, he also receives these kinds of tantrums. So, for instance, I cite an example of a political gathering that Dino Melaye was practically, and I'm sure that you saw that.
Yes, I've seen
and he was mimicking him and falling and rolling on the ground and saying he's the one who does that all the time. And people were there, people were clapping. And of course, the argument also is that the chairman of the Presidential Campaign Council, who is the governor of Akwa Ibom State, His Excellency Udo Emmanuel, was also there and all that. So it's like, okay, you do me, I do you. But generally speaking, how are we going to stop these politicians from doing so? Because it is not about, crucifying one person for doing so. It happens all the time.
Okay,
and even the presidential candidate is a recipient of this kind of insult.
Yes, you see, I like the fact that this issue is coming up. I would like us to have a session for this. The truth is that you are aspiring to be the president of Nigeria. You should be able to tolerate much more than your followers. If now the contest here it's not between Udo Emmanuel and Bola Tinubu. It's between Atiku and Bola Tinubu and Peter Obi and Kwankwaso and Showore and the rest. Now, you don't also leave the fact that the followers of these persons they will throw tantrums. But when you, as the principal, stand up to speak, you are simply telling the world the component that you are made up. What you are made up as a president, and now being a president, it means that you are going to become a combative president, and you'll be fighting every region, every state. Every governor will speak, you will shut him down. I mean, that will not help this country. What we need now, we need a governor, a president that has intellect, that has sound mind, that has the free mind to accommodate criticisms, to accommodate stones and tantrums, and be able to sit up and address issues of policies and governance. Now, when you mentioned Dino Melaye, fine, I'm not holding for him. Dino Melaye is not the one contesting for the presidency, but the principal is the one contesting. That is why we have faulted the approach of Dino Melaye and Festus Kayamo. Or you've seen them on television abusing themselves. And I have said over time that these two men are not fit to be the spokesperson of these two candidates. Now, going back to the candidates themselves, I have not seen Atiku, for instance. I have not seen Peter Obi. I have not seen Kwankwaso coming out to attack the other persons. I have seen for example, what Wike has said over time against Atiku. I have not seen Atiku come up to dissent on Wike or personally, engage him on a feast of exchange of words.
Right.
Because you have to show that you are a presidential candidate. Now, I think that your office is now your office of president, and then everybody will attack you. So you live above board, simply put. And so when you do that, your followers will not understand and follow your footsteps.
But Tuekong, it may not be that easy that you receive the amount of insults that people are giving you and you don't give.
The office
no
you want,
matter,
the office you are
no
aspiring.
matter the office you're vying for.
No, you see,
in this particular country, I'm not holding brief for anybody, but Tinubu has been called a dead man.
Of course.
And he hears it.
Buhari has been called a dead
You
man as
understand
well.
what I'm saying? He has been called a drug lord. He has been called a thief and all of that. So he is also a part of the people who receive these things. So as a human being, don't you think that, humanity sometimes can fail?
Now, you see, the office you are aspiring to occupy should shape you, should shape your mindset, should shape your character, should shape your attitude and the way you speak in the public. Now, if you watch the U.S. presidential debate between Barack Obama, between Joe Biden and Trump, Donald Trump, you would have seen that Trump was painted on all, space. They brought him up. They even put his statue naked. You could see that picture. He was stripped naked. They called his wife names that she danced, stripper in the club and all those stuff. But upon all that, he never got to the point where, although Trump was also giving out, but that also began the kind of things he received in returns. Now back to Nigeria. What we want here is not a president who is combative. We know now that is why Nigerians have believed that so those who are aspiring, some of them don't have their own manifesto. They are being guided by kitchen cabinet.
All right.
Now, if you watch what was said by Bola Tinubu in Akwa Ibom State, we are those who are with him, speaking to him, and those things were captured by the microphone that was there, that was loud enough. He wasn't really speaking for himself. Same thing happened when he went to the Chatham House and he was asked questions. He was referring to this, referring to that. I want a president that will be able to stand and face Nigerians and address issues headlong.